What is up, Booger Beans? Welcome back to another episode of Adventures with Boog. On this episode, we're just tying up some loose ends. Okay guys, so we've got most of the walls up in the bus, as you guys have seen on our previous episodes. And now it's time to start doing, we've got lots of little projects that we just need to start wrapping up. So we've got to finish the bulkheads. We've got, this is the heater piping that we built for the furnace. So this has got to go in. We've got heater ducting that we're putting in. We've got light switches that we're going to be putting in. We've got electrical boxes that we're going to be putting in. We're going to start getting the electrical in the walls and get that sealed up. We've got a breaker panel. We've got tarps on the roof that can come off. We've got frames in the front that can be built. We've got all this stuff to do and really don't know where to start. So I don't know what's going to really happen in this episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. Follow along and we'll see what we get up to. First thing I want to do is get some of this heater piping installed. So we will be having two heaters right here, and this heater pipe actually fits in here, in this piece of ducting here. That goes in there, and then this guy kind of fits in here. It looks like I do need to drill a bit of a hole on this end to allow it to scoot all the way over to line up with the heater ducting. And then we'll have our other heater here that will be entering through this point here. We are using ABS pipe as our ducting. Let's see here. You can see that ABS pipe there. So we are going to be using this ABS pipe as our ducting. In theory, it should be able to take the heat. That's the hope. What I'm going to do to test it out is on the weekend here, or maybe even one of these evenings here, I'm going to hook it all up and run it on full heat for like 4 hours, 5 hours. And by that point, if we don't get any melting or anything like that, I think we're golden. So after that, I'm not going to be worried about if we're going to run into any issues or not. So that's where we're at. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure some ducting back in the back of the bus, over in that corner over there. So we've got the pipe coming up to the top of the bed rail there, and now I need to run the pipe along the side over here underneath there. So that's what I'm going to work on lining up now. So we got that guy temporarily in there and kind of up over there. No, none of these joints are glued yet for a couple reasons. I need to test it out and make sure that the plastic doesn't melt. If the plastic melts, we can still use this piping for our plumbing and stuff. So I don't want to glue it all together and then have the plastic melt and then we're in trouble. And number two, I just want to make sure I can get everything fit and everything working properly before I completely finalize everything. That's also why I just have these just taped up for now. So now I've got the entire back portion of the ducting in. Here's the pipe coming up to the heater, and now I'm going to start working on the front portion right here. So you guys will notice that there is quite a bit of a restriction right there. This is not a great ducting practice, that's for sure. But unfortunately, it's just, that's the space we've got, so that's what we have to work with. We are going to have dampers on the end of all of the outlets, which will allow us to adjust the flow as needed. But that being said, we did do a pressure test with this, and it seemed to work pretty well. So I'm not too worried about it. So now, yeah, I'm gonna start working on. I'm gonna move that stuff out of the way, and I'm gonna start working on the piping coming up this direction. So let's. Now I got the other portion of the ducting in place, like that. There. So the furnace will come up, shoot the air up over top and down out to there. So I do need a couple more 2-inch to 1.5-inch reducers over there. That's why I haven't finished that ducting in that portion. Also, I know that this aluminum down here is gonna get quite warm. So we are going to get exhaust heat tape, and we're going to tape that whole thing to ensure that that doesn't melt. And I know, guys, I understand that this is definitely not the best setup for flow. I understand there's ways you could get better flow, you could get better distribution, but we're doing our best to balance the ducting as we can and fit it in that tight little space that we get to deal with for the duct. So that's what we got to deal with. We are going to use some silicone heat resistant caulking to attach the ABS tubes to the aluminum, and we're also going to be using heat resistant turbo intake couplings from the heater to the aluminum, and then the exhaust wrap will go all around the aluminum. But that's as far as we can get for tonight. On this portion here, we do have it running at an angle to get into the wall as tight as we can keep it to the wall, because here it's going to have to run behind the fridge and then underneath the cabinets here. And we're going to have a duct that comes out right here underneath the cabinet, and a little diffuser on the floor there. And then we're also going to run one up here to the end of the cabinets over here, and we're going to run another diffuser out in this area right here, and that will be it for the bus, and that should distribute the air pretty well. And I think it should be nice and cozy in here with no problems. So that's where we're at. But that's it for ducting. So now I'm going to start on some electrical wiring. I'm putting in some 3-way switches, putting in the breaker panel, and that kind of stuff. The breaker panel is just going to go up temporarily on the wall, so I know a rough location of it. And then once we get the paneling and that kind of stuff in, then we'll know. Then we'll go from there. So let's put up that breaker panel, I guess. Alright guys, so that looks like it's about it we're going to get for tonight. Basically got the ducting done and started wiring one of the 3-way light switches, but I need some 14-3 wire to finish that up. So Dad's going into town tomorrow, so he's going to pick me up that while he's in town, and then we will continue on that tomorrow. It is Monday night, so tomorrow's Tuesday night, so I'm going to try and get as much wiring as I can done, but then that will be probably it for this episode. So we'll see you tomorrow night. Okay guys, so Dad was able to pick up those 2 reducers that we needed for the ducting, as well as some 14-3 wire. This is the type of wire you need when you are going to be putting a 3-way switch. So a 3-way switch means that I can turn off the light, or turn on the light at one switch and turn it off at another switch. So we want our living room and our bathroom lights to be set up like that, so that as you come in the bus you can turn it on, but then say you're going to bed at night, you can turn it off at the back of the bus rather than having to come up here, turn it off, walk through the bus in the dark, and trip on something or whatever. And same with the bathroom, then you can turn it on in bed, and when you leave you can turn it off when you leave the bathroom, and then the lights are all off behind you and no issues. So that's why we need some 14-3 wire, and we are going to get this all wired up here. So let's get to it. wondering what this three-way switch and this special wire and all this kind of stuff is, it's so that I can turn on the lights here, then I can walk to the front of the bus over here, and I can turn the lights off. And then the same thing back. So I can turn the lights on when I come in the bus. Then I go walk through the bus, say I'm going to bed, whatever. The light switch will be mounted on the wall here somewhere. I can turn the lights off behind me, and I don't have to walk to the front of the bus and then walk through it in the dark. So that's the way a three-way switch works. These guys work perfectly, and now I am going to unplug the lights, because you shouldn't be doing this while it's live, and do the bathroom switch as well. So there's going to be another switch right here on the other side of the wall for the bathroom, and then it's going to have a three-way switch right up beside the bed, and then we'll have just a single switch for the above bed lights. So let's get to that now. So guys, now for the bathroom, I can turn on the lights. You know, you come around the wall and you push the light on the light switch right here. So you would turn on the lights here, you walk through, do your business, whatever you have to do, and then when say you're ready for bed, you would just come back and turn the lights off. There we go, double switching done. Okay, so now we've just got one more switch to do, and that is on the bed, above bed lights. And then we'll be done with switches, and we can move on to plugins. So let's get that done. All right, so here's what we've done. So here's our switch. Click it on. The living room lights turn on. Then you'd walk through the bus. You get to the bathroom. You could turn off the living room lights. Turn on the bathroom lights. Now you're coming all the way back here. You're gonna go to bed, want to do some reading. You turn on the bedroom lights. You turn on the bedroom lights, and then also from bed, you could turn off the bathroom lights, just like that. And if you have to walk out the back door, I guess you can't turn off the bed lights. So hopefully we don't have to do that too often. But yeah, that's the whole setup. I know it is an absolute mess of wires and whatever else in there. But I'm waiting on some fuse panels and some breaker switches and all that kind of stuff. So this will get cleaned up. But I need to put that stuff in first. And I need to put the piece of 1/4 inch plywood on this wall. I actually have that piece of 1/4 inch plywood sitting in the garage, so maybe that's not a bad idea to get done here. Maybe that's a good thing to work on. Yeah, sure. Let's do that next. Let's get the 1/4 inch piece of plywood on that wall. Alright guys, so there we got that wall in. Here. So what I did to cut the top of that is I used the original bus kind of back plate that goes along that wall back there. And I used it as a tracing tool, and it actually lined up pretty good. Need a little bit of adjustment. You can see a little bit of space up in the top there, but I'm really not too worried about it. It looks pretty good, especially for the mechanical room. It's not a big deal. And what we can always do is run a piece of corner round up there to fully seal it in and make it look really clean. I just used drywall screws. I think they're 1-inch drywall screws, and a I don't know, a drywall gun. I think that's what that's called. with a drywall screwing tip on it so that it doesn't bury the screw all the way through the 1/4-inch plywood. And yeah, that's about it. So now I'm gonna take the wires that will go to the light switch on this side, and I'm gonna drill holes for them and put them into place now. Okay guys, so I was able to run that wiring through the wall there. So I just drilled that with 1/2-inch holes, ran the wiring through to the switch. Again, I just put it on the switch just to make sure that everything still works, and it does. Right now I have the power cables running just outside the mechanical room there around to the batteries. We are gonna have breaker, transfer switch, inverter, solar charger, all that stuff mounted on that wall there. And I don't know where any of that is gonna fit yet. So what I need to do is order all that stuff, get it laid out on the wall before I commit to drilling any holes in the wall. But yeah, that's that. I did have to take apart all of the ducting in order to get that piece of plywood in there, so that we can we'll have to run a new hole there and stuff, but it's in there. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for this episode. We did some electrical, we did some paneling, we did some ducting, we did a whole bunch of different stuff. And moving forward, that's kind of going to be how these episodes go. Hopefully over the weekend we are going to start staining the roof. Sydney's going to get on that, so as long as it's warm, it's looking like it's going to be warm right now, but as long as it's warm, she'll be doing that. And I'll continue trucking on the electrical, getting paneling up and that kind of stuff. Also getting the plugins all done, and so on and so forth. One of the main things that's holding us up right now is the folding door that's going in the middle of the bus. It's a lot to figure out, and I need to do the design of it on the computer and order the steel and go pick up the steel from Edmonton and all that kind of stuff. So I need to really start trucking on that, because until we get that wall in there, it's really holding a lot of other things up, i.e. the kitchen cabinets, this couch, all that kind of stuff. So I need to buckle down and get that done. But as always guys, thanks for watching. Have a great night. Go down there, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, and let us know what you thought about the video.